Good morning, everyone. We are the Spa Sisters, and we are back with another wonderful interview with our contributor today, who is Amanda Jennings from Seaham Hall. Hi, Amanda. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. And you?
Yeah, really good today. Feeling ready to not interrogate you, of course. We're just so curious to find out all about you and your background and how you got to the position of spa manager at a beautiful property. And also, something that struck me as really interesting about you, Amanda, was how you bring that therapist well-being is at the forefront of your operational process. And we spoke, and you kind of mentioned this sort of term about bridging the gap between hospitality and wellness. And of course, Julie's and my ears perked up, and we were kind of really keen to understand more about what you mean. So fire away and tell us all about you, how you got to where you are, and what is important to you in the spa.
Yeah, so for me, my background is not traditional in any sense of spa. So from a young age, I was kind of always thrusted into a retail environment. So whilst I was studying at college and university, I always had part-time roles in a customer-centric environment, really. From then, I actually went on to complete a fashion degree. So
Wow.
background's actually more design than it is within a spa environment or a spa degree as such. So what I did was I finished my degree, but by the end of it, I actually realised it wasn't quite what I wanted to do. So being away from home for 4 years, I returned back to the Northeast and just really didn't know what I wanted to do, in all honesty. Applied for a few roles, one of them, which was a receptionist role in a spa at Seaham Hall. So I eventually went for the interview. I kind of had a bit of interrogation there, as you would expect, in terms of their standards and kind of my background and why I would be such a good fit with not a lot of experience in that environment. But luckily enough, managed to secure the role. So from there, I started as spa reception. That was back in 2012. So I've been there just short of, well, actually, I've just had the 10th anniversary. So I've been there 10 years now. So from that period, I kind of obviously have evolved over that period of time at CM. They've obviously put a lot of investment, coaching. I've had a lot of mentorship from lots of different people whilst I've been there as well. So I've really kind of watched people kind of through the spa management role themselves. So people like Davina, Hassel, Helen, Coulon, a lot of people that have kind of, I've taken bits of their leadership and parts of their management style and then established my own, which has then evolved the role that I have now at CM. So for me, it was all about establishment first. And then came by evolution in time. So I'm a firm believer that everything comes in good time.
Oh, I love it. So, and also you've really given a shout out to those people that you feel are valuable, to your journey, which is lovely to hear. So, yeah, you can see that from the get-go, training, mentoring, coaching has been a big part of your journey from spa reception to spa manager. Do you think that's the only recipe for success in spa, or what else do you need to make that perfect streamlined spa operation go
I think
well?
you've always got to be striving to make things better. So whilst I have been there for a long period of time now, you've got to still understand that, there is positive changes that can always be made. So you don't kind of rest on your laurels, essentially. You obviously have to move with the times, and you have to move, in my mind, I always feel like I have to be one step further ahead of everyone else. And that's so that I can really continue the evolution of what we have at CM. So as a leader, you have to be always looking at, the next innovation. You have to be looking ahead at how you can propel the team, how you can create opportunity. how you can endorse people, and really put them on that path of trajectory that I was so fortunate to have by others as well. So for me, it's really about diversity within a team. I think having a diverse skill set is really important.
Yeah, and okay. And I was going to say to you, with your team, and not just the therapists, because there's more to the team than just the therapists. You know, you have such a passion from what you're saying about that. How do you cope with teams that might not be so willing or understanding of what it takes to move with the times, make changes? You know, how do you adapt and evolve your team and get them geared up and motivated?
I think it's involvement. They have to be involved from the get-go. So they have to really feel succinct and part of that journey that you're trying to push on. So for us now, it's all about smart additions. It's not about kind of bringing newness all of the time. It's about how we can elevate what we already have.
Yeah.
And because we have such a great retention rate at Seaham in terms of whether it be therapists, receptionists, I believe that's down to its continued, like I say, investment, evolution. Listening to people goes a long way, you know, so listening to their wants and needs, and bringing them along on that journey with you as well. So involvement's really the biggest part to, you know, getting people engaged in what your vision is.
Right.
Can you explain a little bit more about what the kind of the gaps that you see between wellness and hospitality that need to be bridged?
Yeah, so I think in terms of a bridge and perspective for me, you know, sometimes from not from experience, but from other people that I speak to, maybe, you know, spas are kind of can be second nature to a hotel environment, and all about the amalgamation of both. Seeing being the way that it is, it's totally different to some of the properties. So we're quite a large spa. We have 17 treatment rooms, and then we've got the hotel who have 22 bedrooms. So for, you know, it's got its own voice and it's its own revenue centre. So we have a huge responsibility in creating that wellness spa hotel environment for guests coming in and out. So I think that can be a lot trickier in larger scale operations that maybe don't have the weight or the voice or the powerhouse that we have with the Serenity Spa. So for me, that's always been, you know, one of my key outputs is making that journey succinct from the guest when they arrive at the hotel through into the spa, and how spa can really enhance their stay with us.
Yeah, amazing.
So
Kylie, do you want to ask another question, or shall I jump?
So I've just got so many questions. Have you got one, Julie? Do you want to go ahead?
No, I'll carry on later, but
Okay.
just that I just wanted to get that clear, because of that whole idea of that bridging is something that right now that's something also I'm working on. So I was just curious.
So yeah, I guess Amanda, you know, you just mentioned there 17 treatment rooms.
Yeah.
How many therapists have you got on your books?
So at the moment we have 24 therapists on our books.
That's a lot of therapists.
Gosh, yeah. We still need more.
Yeah, of course, always you need more therapists. So, you know, like you said, involvement's a big thing to keep them motivated. Do you, because it's really challenging for therapists to feel motivated about the wider part of their work, but daily, you know, day to day, they're giving so much. It's got to be really client focused, exceptional service. Do you have any support programs or wellness programs that support the teams internally to help them get through?
Yeah, for us, like I said, retention's really quite strong for us. So for us, it's all about reward and recognition. So whilst we're working to attract new talent, it's very different to retaining talent. So for me, I've got a really great team that work beside me. So in terms of a supervisory and management team, which the girls have a really great connection with as well. But we do have workplace wellness programs in place. So for instance, the teams can use the fitness suite and classes on certain days. We are working with our product partners to look at maybe more lifestyle incentives rather than the traditional kind of product-based incentive from retail commission and all those other things. Yeah. For us, I've kind of, you know, realised that the girls' time together, they spend so much of their work and life together, that their bond together is crucial. So for them to be able to enjoy some lifestyle activities is going to kind of just gel them really together. And naturally, having such a large team, we have kind of pockets of people that kind of, have their people that they gel towards the most, or naturally, might feel more comfortable with one to the other. So trying to get that all on the same page can be difficult at times, but with those activities, it kind of helps bring them together, and maybe showcases things within them that they thought, oh, I didn't think she would, think that, or they find similarities and differences constantly with one another.
Yeah.
Which comes bringing to my question about this complementarity in teams, where working to a team's strengths means understanding as well the talents and I think the preferences of people at work. And I've been trying to reflect on, is there a different way that we could start to form spa teams to look maybe at that angle? Because as you mentioned earlier about the retail angle, you coming from that background, not everybody is a natural retailer. But when we look at a team's composition, being able to have that person on the right place. I mean, they've all got to be therapists first and foremost, but there are other roles within the spa that perhaps some team members are better at others of doing that. I mean, have you ever looked at that or taken that into consideration by doing a special assessment to look at the dynamics between your team members?
Yeah, I think for us, not so much on an assessment level. A good old-fashioned conversation, really. When they start with us, we try and make sure for every HOD they're responsible for their own team. So for me, it's really important that we sit with them, find out even from that initial interview stage what motivates them, what drives them, do they share the same passion, how can they shine a light in our business. So all of those things, that's from initial setup of interview. Once they're then kind of brought on through the team, there's various touch points that they go through, from not just a treatment perspective, but an operational perspective, from reception, fitness, food and beverage. And that generally we find kind of their fit. So for instance, we have taken a few college leavers just recently, and they actually started from the front of house perspective. One of them really was succinct, and she felt that it really helped her gain a larger understanding of the spa operation. For the other, it wasn't her bag at all. So for her comfort was much more within a treatment environment, and the actually quite vast. So for her, that was her comfort, whereas for someone else, it's not their comfort. So for us, it's about defining the individual, but that starts at interview and right the way through their process and employment with us.
Wonderful. I mean, I was reading as well that you have an arrangement with local colleges where rather than you going in to talk to them, you get them to come to you. Is that right?
Yes.
And they then get to have a mentor. So how does that work?
So what we offer is we work with several local colleges, and we've had real success actually with them. For us, and for me and Janika, our passion is really the next generation, because we were given a chance and everyone else needs to be given one at the end of the day as well. So they actually come into us. It's a half-day session in the spa. So they have a mentor massage. So essentially the budding therapist provides a treatment to one of our team members, which can be quite daunting for them, but equally it gives them that opportunity in a closed environment to hear from someone in a therapist role, in a spa environment. If they've got any questions without our ears being present, then they can ask them whatever they would like to ask. And then following that, we do an interactive product workshop. So again, that's a demonstration of our product brands that we use, how kind of that fits in with our spa journey. They then have a nice lunch with us in the restaurant, so they get to experience what our spa guests would. And then they also have access to the facilities, again, because a lot of them haven't even visited a spa before, so their understanding of what a spa looks like or how a spa works is quite limited. And the tutor attends with them as well, so it gives them, like I say, an insight as to how they can get their student into a therapy role within that environment.
Sounds amazing. I think that's such a great way forward, I think, with education as well, to sort of almost be like curating your team before they've even qualified, identifying and also helping people to identify for themselves, is this the right fit for me?
Yeah.
A really smart move. Well done.
I think for us as well, that's where it gives us the first opportunity as well to meet that new talent.
Yeah.
We're first in line, we're first there. But equally, like you said, it gives the learner an understanding as to if this is the exposure, if this is the route of their employment that they want to take, which is really important.
Fabulous. Do you have any sort of numbers you can put on that? Sort of like how many therapists, budding therapists do you get coming through those kind of days, and how many perhaps would you say that would go on to want to work with you?
Yeah, so this year we have had, pre-COVID year, we had 4 that were actually successful through from interview to employment and who are still with us to date. We have had 2 earlier this side of the year, and we've got a further 2. So again, 4 on quantity. But the days, we tend to stick the days to 8 to 10 people. Again, we don't want to kind of make it overwhelming for the learner. So we do work with 4 colleges overall. So to date, we usually have around 40 students, every quarter, I would say, in terms of when their visits are planned.
Wonderful.
And I bet the therapists that are already working for you quite enjoy that experience, not only that they actually receiving a massage, right?
Yeah.
But it's probably quite empowering for the therapist teams to feel like they can take responsibility for sharing that information with, the learners.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of them are shining examples of the exact same route of travel. So for them, it's given them that element of giving back. They've been in their shoes before. They know how daunting it can be, how difficult it sometimes can be to find a role that you really want to secure. So for a lot of them, they've actually been on the other side of it as well, and it showcases their giving back and what they can do. Equally perspective, they see, their student that they had a year ago, and then they see kind of their progression as to what they are to date. So it can be really, really rewarding for all sides.
Really powerful. This doesn't surprise me that you are numerous times you've been nominated and you've won awards. So where are you now in that number of trophies?
To be honest, we are renowned for winning awards, but as I mentioned earlier, for me, when I first kind of took the role of spa manager, it was all about establishment, for evolution. The awards and recognition is really all about the team. That is kind of our strategy for this year. It's all kind of team accolades. We're very fortunate that we have won some of those bigger awards like World Spa and Wellness, Western Europe and Scandinavia, which was a global award, and that was a one that we really had on our bucket list. And then to those people that are recognised for individual awards as well. So again, it's just putting that evolution at the forefront, now that we're established in the spa world.
I always love the expression, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Oh, I love it.
You're raising up the industry, raising up everybody, giving everybody their dues.
Absolutely. Well, Amanda, I mean, first of all, what's next for you? Or the saying, if we're going to go down the route of doing our little sayings like we always do, Julie, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So are you happy and contented in your role, or you got your eyes and heart set on bigger things in the future?
No, I'm not quite done yet. So we have, like I said, a lot of plans coming up this year. Like I said earlier, for me, it's about smarter additions. So whilst we have, like you said, the saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We really believe that what we have as a model really works. However, there is areas where we're looking at, like I say, elevation in terms of treatment progression, outside and things like that, in terms of outside spa phases. So there's lots of things ongoing. Hopefully that'll be confirmed later in the year. And again, from a long-standing team member perspective, like myself, it again continues that growth for each and every individual there. Yeah,
brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. You're doing great work, really genuine, great work. So that is great to be able to share with our viewers and our listeners. Any more questions, Julie?
Well, I think we need to close with what are your top 3 tips to spa managers or people in our industry that you would like to share with them as going forward, like you say, innovating? What would they be? How would you say, what do they need to look at?
I think, look after your team, they'll take care of the rest, first and foremost. So I'm all about, like I say, team mentality first. Opportunities, I think it's really important when you're looking at new opportunities that you have a connection with that person, and that your mission and vision is the same, and that you can add value. So again, don't just add things because that is the thing to do. It's got to be smart additions. And equally, just remain grounded. Things, I always believe in that things come to you and you can relate to other people with it as well. So just remain grounded in everything that you do. Relatability is the main thing for great relationships.
Perfect. Thank you so very much, Amanda, for your precious time, and send our best regards to all the therapists.
And when do you get to go on your next spa day?
I've actually just been on one.
Brilliant. So you are practicing what you preach. That's what we love to hear and see.
Yeah, absolutely. We have really great relationships with all of our North Spa partners. So it's great that, again, we can celebrate spas across the Northeast and further afield.
Love it.
Wonderful.
Great. Well, look, share the podcast with all your therapists. Spa Sisters Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. And if you've got any questions for us, always you can email us at spasisterspodcast@gmail.com. And we're here to engage, disrupt, and transform the therapist experience and bring voices together. So thank you, Amanda. It's been a great session with you today.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.